I always hear guys say, "I don't know how to vet the women here." It's the same like vetting in the United States. It's literally the same
Mhm,
process, just the language is
mhm.
different. So you look
That's
for the
it.
same things. Like I'm not into the big eyelashes. I'm not into the weaves and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of tattoos. I understand some of these
Yep,
people they get tattoos when
yep,
they're young, and you ask them a lot of times, yeah, I regret it. I just don't have the money to get it removed. But I'm noticing everyone who complains about the relationship they're in or stuff like that, they just got a whole red flag and it's sitting there
yep,
because brothers are lazy.
yep.
Brothers are
Yeah,
lazy. They won't really for you to find that girl or you to find that relationship. You got to do some research. It's gonna be
definitely.
difficult, but some of y'all just want to be laid up.
Damn, if she ain't got no job, how the hell you think she feed her kids and
Yeah.
feeding herself? That's the one red flag that it always confuses me out here when they're like, she's up getting fired from that restaurant. You go on that same girl's social media right now. Everything she doing is twerk thing, right? Because she don't have no income now.
Mhm.
So she go back to what a lot of women do, but
Yeah.
going back to what she knows. So that's what I'm saying. If she's already doing that, then and she don't have a job, how you think she's feeding herself? Like it's not that cheap to live out
Yeah.
here. I'll be honest. I went through about 4 years of depression, um, heavy drinking, any type of substance abuse. I mean, I wasn't on hard drugs. I've saved a life, I've taken a life, and I've created a life. And for me, that's the trifecta. I'm not proud of obviously taking a life, but it was my job at the time. Um, I've been blessed to save a service member's life downrange, and then I'm a father, so I create life. So for me as a man, I look back and I said, even as horrible as some of those experiences were at such a young age, because I'm only 45 now,
Mhm.
uh, I've hit the trifecta of what I think most men will never be able to do.
What's going on, guys? My name is Cam Morris. I am here with the Sergeant Sosua. Go ahead, Sarge.
What's going on, man? How you doing, nephew? How's life treating you?
Hey, life is treating me good. Life is treating me good, man. Just moving along, traveling. It's been a minute. We were just talking earlier, man. It's been a minute since I
Yeah,
last
man.
been in DR. I've been running away from family.
Hey, that's why I left the state.
Yeah, bro. It's like I can't. I go there. I'm just paying bills. I'm buying stuff. I'm going to funerals. I'm just like, bro, I can't.
Yeah, man.
I can't keep doing it, man. It's just, it's like it's very tiring. But I think that's what some people don't understand about having like being deep in the culture, like the how we do it, like Caribbean ways or Dominican ways, Haitian ways. It's like you really got to take care of family. And I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
my family, but it's just like, man, I'm done, dude. I need a break.
yeah. That's part of it, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's beautiful. It can be stressful, but I love to see big families out here, and they're always together.
Yeah.
Anytime you see them, it's always a family event. So I think that's beautiful.
No, no, it's oh my god, it'd be like 100 people. Yo, don't you know cousin Hector? Who? I don't know this man. I don't know who this is, but his daughter looking all right. You talking
Right.
about his daughter? Ah, damn. Like, are we cousins, or are we like, is there what's
Ah,
the we got the same great grandma, great grandpa? You gotta let me know. Oh, it's
man,
just his
come
friend.
on,
Okay.
come on, man. That's real talk, though. At least
Yeah.
you honest. At least you honest.
I need to know. Like,
Right. I think you see the paperwork.
yeah. But man, I've been meeting like I got a bunch of relatives that was served in the military and who's serving in the military now, and I tell them to tap
Awesome.
into you. Of course, they don't tap in, but
Of course not.
like
Of course
you have so
not.
much information on just like the disabilities on the different spots. I even seen your friend John the writer. He even showed veteran facilities in Medellin. I didn't even know about that in
Yeah,
Colombia.
yeah,
So
yeah.
everyone has different options. I think they're doing a veteran spot in Thailand as well, I believe, or they already
Well,
have one.
they've had one. Yeah, they
Okay.
have a couple in Thailand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a wealth. There's so many things that other people can do in different countries. So they don't just have to go to Dominican Republic. That's just where you are right now. So it's just giving a lot
Exactly.
of people different options. But I want to start off in the beginning for you because I know your story
Okay.
very well because we spoke about it on many times. But some people just may not understand. But you were a basketball player.
I was. I don't know how good I was, but I thought I was pretty damn good.
You gotta tell them the story of how you went from basketball, how the recruiter got you in the military. I think that that story is hilarious.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm looking for him still, 25 years later. Just know I'm looking for that dude for lying to me. But nah, he actually blessed me, man. He actually changed my life. But yeah, the quick story, man. I was playing high school ball in Texas, in Fort Worth, Texas, and he came to one of my games, and he said, "Man, like you can really play." He said, "Hey, man, you can play in the army and you can get paid for it." All right, I had no clue. I didn't know anybody really in the army that could give me any information. So I finished high school, got a couple college letters. I was headed to college, and I said, man, I'm gonna be broke in college. Like I don't want to just be playing basketball and going to school all day. So I went in, I signed up, I did everything, did all the paperwork, signed up as a chemical operations specialist, and came in the army. And I was like, hey man, after basic training AIT, I said, when am I gonna play basketball? And I get to my first duty station in North Carolina, and I look at my superiors. I'm like, hey, I came in already to play basketball. They're like, hey, man, how about you shut up and go out to the field and start digging holes? I was like, oh, they got me. So I ended up playing a lot of basketball, man. I played post. I played on a post team. I played about a year and a half, 2 years on the all army team. We traveled all over the country, and then I went overseas in Germany, and I played overseas too. So I ended up playing basketball, just not as a professional, and just not with that man. I won't call him out his name. Told me what I was going to be doing. So yeah, yeah, man, that's kind of my story. So yeah, he got me. He used what I love to get me in the army. So yeah, they got me, bro.
Yeah, they got you good. They got you.
Yeah,
Hey,
they
yeah,
got
we
me.
got a team you can play for. Oh yeah, bet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Aside from Afghanistan, Iraq, SEALs, all the other stuff, yeah, you can shoot a basketball whenever you get some free time.
So what was the like military moment? Because I always hear people talk about boot camp and these other things.
Mhm.
Can you kind of explain that process on how it works, signing up, taking an ASVAB? If you can just like
Yeah,
explain.
definitely, definitely. So initially, you'll the ASVAB is the academic test. It's pretty easy. Most kids, if you're doing well in high school, in school, the ASVAB is just a simple test. It's not as hard as the SAT or the ACT, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
After you take the test, a lot of times your recruiter will take you through some physical training to get you ready because we all know, young people are fat and overweight. So you have to get ready physically. It's just the truth. Physically to enlist. Now after that, they'll give you a date, whatever job you pick. We call it in the army. We call it an MOS, right? You pick based on your scores. So whatever you score, they give you a certain job descriptions or jobs that you can apply for, you can enlist as. Then once you pick that, they send you to your basic training, which is basic for everybody. Doesn't matter what job you pick, everybody does the exact same basic training. Might be in different locations, but the intent and what you do is basically the same. Then after that, you go into your advanced, called advanced. Uh, damn, I've been out the army way too long. Advanced individual training, and then once that's where you learn your actual job. And
Okay.
that can be anywhere from 6 weeks to 20 weeks, depending on which. If you're an IT guy, you're one of them real smart kids, you might be there longer, a year, maybe 2 years. Mine was right around 12 weeks because I was a chemical guy. We had to deal with, you know, anthrax and all, biological agents and all that stuff. So it was pretty intense. And then after that, you go to if you're active duty, you go to your initial duty station, which they also pick for you. It's the needs of the army. So unless you're, outstanding, at least it's how it used to be, then you
Okay.
kind of get to pick. If you're not outstanding during your school, then they pick it for you. And then once you get there, man, you boots on the ground, you start working, man. It's from that day, you're active duty and you're in the grind. So the process can be difficult, but like I tell all people, all young people that want to enlist, that 18 weeks or X amount of weeks of hell uh, could possibly give you a lifetime of heaven. That's why I'm living in Dominican Republic. I have no job. I haven't worked for anybody in almost 6 years, and I don't plan on it. I live strictly off my retirement. disability. So it's a blessing.
Okay, okay. So for because you joined the military, the U.S. military, so the U.S. Army, right? Because I
Correct.
think there's Army, Air Force, Navy,
Navy, Marines,
Marines.
Coast Guard, they fall into that.
Yeah.
They do, and now we have Space Force.
Oh,
We're
they have
also
Space
part of
Force
that.
now?
Yeah, we have
Hey, they
Space
had
Force.
Space Force when I was coming out. They may have got me because I
They
almost
they, they probably would have got you.
if
Would have got you.
they had Space
But-
Force, what I would have been. Hey,
yeah,
man, you said I could go to space? Yeah, they would
yeah,
have got
yeah.
me because I remember when I was coming out, I took the ASVAB and I got a high enough score to be in the Air Force. But they wasn't gonna guarantee me I could fly the jets. So I didn't join. I was like, I want to fly the jets. Well, you gotta be this, and that, and your breed.
Right.
That's not hell, man. Y'all ain't guaranteeing me what I want.
That's the beautiful thing about the military, man, is everybody starts from the bottom. I
Yeah,
don't care who you think you are, I don't care how smart you are, how strong you are, how fast you are. Everybody starts at the bottom, man. That's the blessing of the military. It teaches you some good lessons in life. I don't care who your parents are, you starting at the bottom. That's
yeah,
what
man.
it
I
is.
was mad. I was like, you tell me I can't just fly. I said I just want to fly the choppers and the jets. That's what I want to get into. I want to do stuff like that. They're like, yeah, you gotta go to basic. Then we gotta
Yeah.
tell you. I'm like, can I get these tests done before I join to make sure I can know? I'm like, nah,
I'm
I'm
glad
good.
they
Just go to
I'm glad
college.
they was honest with you.
No, the dude was honest. He was like, man, kid, go to school, man. You smart. Just go, go to
Yeah,
college. He was honest, and that's kind of what you can ask for is just honesty. And unfortunately
yeah.
for you, the guy wasn't too honest, but it was a blessing in disguise. So while you were in the military, I think you had 3 or 4 children,
4.
4 children, and then you have 20 years of military service. I don't know if you can like this. I only been on the planet 25 years, so I can't imagine 20 years doing something. I just can't imagine it yet.
Right.
So just walk us through the process because 20 years of service, kids, family, marriages, and just working and going through all these processes. Like, what did that take just to keep going and keep moving?
Man, I'll be honest. It took a lot of prayer, man. You stay on your knees. I give you that. I always give credit to that because I've been deployed 4 times and I don't have a scratch on me, not a physical scratch
Wow.
that can be seen. So that's a blessing. What I will say is it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of dedication to your craft. I always correlate the military to a professional athlete, right? So a lot of people see the glamour and the glitz and the being able to travel, and people think we make a whole bunch of money and doing all those things, but they don't see the behind the scenes work you have to do in order to maintain that. I was telling somebody the other day, for those 20 years, 5 days a week, I was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day and doing physical training. Okay, so if you just think about that, 5 o'clock in the morning from 17, I came in at 17, till I was almost 40, waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and running 4 miles, carrying things. We take a physical fitness test in the Army, like most branches do.
Yeah.
Uh, it took a lot of discipline, and you spend a lot of time away from your family. So you have to have a tight knit, strong home because out of my 20 years, we talked about this last time we talked, I spent right around 14 years physically away from my family, with schools and deployments, and I've lived in Washington State. I was stationed out there. I was stationed in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I was stationed in Louisiana twice. I was stationed in Texas, Missouri. I literally was stationed on every corner of the country in those 20 years. In those 20 years, I was never at one duty station more than 3 years. So you just got to think about that, how that affects you mentally. As soon as you get comfortable, start meeting people, boom, I was packing up my whole family and leaving again. And, that's hard on the kids. That's hard on if you're married or your family. So it takes
Yeah,
a
I was
lot
gonna
of
ask you
discipline.
that.
Yeah.
Was so
So
every
go.
time it was like a move with the family, so every base you're at, they came along. How was that?
I was lucky enough to where I was most of my career was in the United States. I spent
Okay,
a few overseas, so I was able to take my family. There's places, at least in the army, like Korea, where sometimes you can't take your family. Obviously, I couldn't take them in Iraq or Afghanistan,
of course.
but within the United States, depending on your duty station or your duty title, what you're doing, usually you can take your family. um, wherever you go. So that's usually not an issue.
Got you. All right. Yeah, because I wasn't too sure how that worked. Because I see it all the time. I remember I knew a girl. She was like, "Oh, military kid," and just kept moving around. States. I was like, "You guys can go." Like, it just
Yeah,
didn't. But I understand. You have bases because when you're young, you just think of military. You just think war. But sometimes
exactly.
like, we're not always in constant war. There are
No, we're not.
branches and people out there, but you're not always you know, in the
Right, you're not always going. And then they
Afghanistan
have,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah, they have on base. They have housing for
Yeah.
service members on base. They have they provide us a housing allowance to live. They provide us a food allowance. They pay for everything when you move. They pay you to move. They come and pack your entire house, and then when you get to where you're going, they unpack your entire house. So that's not as stressful as what people might think because they do provide all of
Can you explain the benefits of being married? I know you may not say, "Hey, go do that today,"
that.
but can you explain the
Oh, being
benefits of
married.
being married in the army?
Uh, okay, so man, I feel like you set me up with that one.
Somebody said, because there are
Ah,
there are benefits. You wouldn't recommend it, but for the people who want to, there are certain benefits, that can be.
that- okay, so I would say one of the benefits might be you have someone to come home to. If you have children, I mean, they're not with grandma. That's the benefit. I can't. That is stressful, man.
Yeah.
Especially if your spouse is not a service member, because
Okay.
you're gone so much, right?
Yeah.
You're always gone, and if she's not used to it, especially when you're young. I had that issue when I was young. My high school sweetheart. It took about 2 years of that. She was like, "Wait a minute, I can't do this. You're gone all the time."
Mhm.
So that I would I wouldn't suggest it for a young male or female when
Okay.
they first enlist to get married. I would wait a couple years and see if you're going to stay in and see if it's something you're going to do long term before you make that jump, because you have to understand that your wife or husband is also serving, right? They're
Yeah.
dealing with all of that stuff, and that everybody can't do that. It's that's why only 1% of the U.S. population even qualifies to be in the service, because that's not an easy job. It's definitely not easy on your family. So I'll say it. I'll stand on my 10. Don't get married if you're going into the military. No
Okay.
time soon. Wait it out. Wait it out.
I agree with you on that. But how about for those guys? Like I know a relative of mine. He just finished high school. Girlfriend is pregnant, so he's like, yeah, 18, and he's like, I want to. He enlisted to the army. He's gonna go to the Marines, and he's like, I'm gonna get married to. I guess you get some type of support while you're married, and the girl's
Yeah.
pregnant, and she had, it's just more benefits. They give you more, like I think, a more like rent vouchers and some type of support.
Mhm.
Like I never been, so you can talk more about that than I can.
Yeah. Now that's a different situation where he has a child on the way. So
Yeah.
when it comes to that, their medical is going to be completely covered. I had 4 children in the military. I never got a bill from the hospital.
Okay.
Right, they were born in military hospitals. I walked straight out of there with my children, and I never received a bill. All their medical is going to be covered. So in his case, I can understand it. I was kind of in the same situation around his age.
Okay.
That is a blessing. If you have a child, um, that's one of the blessings. Then fast forward, if you get out or you retire, you can give a lot of your benefits to your children, i.e., education benefits. You can also, your wife or husband can also go to school while you're in. So there's a lot of benefits for your family. Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
All right, understood. And then for what was it like? Well, you always been traveling, but what was the transition like from military service to civilian life?
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. I'll be honest. I went through about 4 years of depression. Um, Heavy drinking, you know, any type of substance abuse. I mean, I wasn't on hard drugs, cocaine, or nothing like that, but definitely because you're so used to a lifestyle. Military can be, and after 20 years, that's the majority of my adult life. I came in at 17, I retired at 38. So that's all I knew. The only job I ever really had in my life was the military, was the army. So that transition, we're together so much in the military. I mean, hours. You're spending 18 hours a day together. Then you deploy, and you're spending years together. These are the only people you see. These are the only people you know everything about them. And then you transition out, and you realize civilian life is nothing like the military. It's like day and night, right? So one of my big things when I retired and when I got out that I struggled with was civilians whine about everything. Okay, that is just what it is. Regular people in the world just complain about everything, and in the military, you're in such drastic environment, you don't have time to complain, right? So we're just kind of used to we have a saying, "Suck it up and drive on."
Yeah.
Then I transition. I try to get a job, and I go to work at 8:45 because we're supposed to be there at 9. So of course I'm 15 minutes early, and everybody shows up at 9:10, and they're like, "Oh, it's hot in here. It's cold in here. I don't like it." You're like, "What the?" So that was a hard transition, and then just not having the camaraderie, the brotherhood that you're used to in the service. Civilians, you go to work, you speak at work, and then everybody goes their separate way. You never talk to them again. You don't see them
Yep.
to the next day at work. And in
Yep.
the military, it's nothing like that. Everything we did was with each other, to the point where when I deployed, I could have left my children with somebody's spouse that I was deploying with, and they would have took care of my children while I was gone.
Wow.
So that's the hardest transition for a lot of service members is we lose that brotherhood as soon as we step out of uniform. And that's what I'm trying to create here in the Dominican Republic is that brotherhood.
Yeah. And another thing I want you to speak on, you have your quote when it's the four things. You know what I'm talking about, right? And
Of course,
every time you say it, I love what you say it because it's just a different perspective. I don't know if you go ahead, you do it the best.
yeah, yeah. So, one of my quotes is I've saved a life, I've taken a life, and I've created a life. And for me, that's the trifecta. I'm not proud of obviously taking a life, but it was my job at the time. Um, I've been blessed to save a service member's life downrange. And then I'm a father, so I create life. So for me as a man, I look back and I said, even as horrible as some of those experiences were at such a young age, because I'm only 45 now,
Mhm.
uh, I've hit the trifecta of what I think most men will never be able to do in that order. So for me, I hang my hat on that because I think it's a trifecta of things that you can take a life and deal with that. You can save a life and deal with that, and then the creation of your children and seeing them born and growing up to be grown and adults. That's a whole nother chapter. So for me, it's like three different chapters of my life that I had to deal with in such a short time. In a 20-year span.
Okay. Yeah, and because I got my older brother, he dealt with something similar. So I told him
Mhm.
that line. He was like, "Damn." He's like, he never created life yet, but he
Right.
understands the two things, and he was like, "I never looked at it that way." So
Mhm.
whenever I meet somebody who was in the service, I always tell them that line. I'm like, I always tell them that, and they're just like, "Oh, that's a good way to put things." How you know that? I know people.
I know people.
I
I
know
got
people.
people.
But so okay, you're coming out. You had issues just trying to figure out and get used to the regular world. How did you deal with the PTSD? And like, what advice would you give other people struggling with that?
Man, seek counseling. That was, your pride. Tuck your pride away. It took me years. It actually took till my son looked at me and said, "Dad, you need help." Right? Because I had a short fuse, certain things that probably shouldn't bother normal people, I would get, frustrated about and angry about. And he was about 17, I think. He was about 17. And I was a single father at the time. It was just me and him. And I think he missed the bus or he did something small. And I just like blacked out, like went on this like, when I was in Afghanistan, if I would have missed, a timeline, I would have died. And I just went off
Yeah.
on this rant. And my son looked at me and he said, "Dad, you're not in Afghanistan anymore.
Oh,
You're not in the army anymore. Like, calm down, bro." Like,
yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
right? So
Scare me, man.
yeah, it's scary, man. Like I'm not the enemy. So I think that's when I saw. I think that same day when he went to school, I went and signed up for counseling. So my first advice is to seek counseling. If you're dealing with issues, definitely go talk to somebody. It's kind of hard to talk to family and friends, especially if they didn't serve, because they don't understand it and it's not their fault. But definitely seek counseling. The other thing is find another purpose, right? So we spend, like for me, I spent majority of my life with the purpose of serving my country. Then when I got out, I said, okay, my purpose is going to be a great father. Well, the thing about it is my son is 17 years old. My daughters were grown at the time. So that impact wasn't going to be as great as I thought it was going to be when they were younger.
Mhm.
So I couldn't really put as much energy into them because they're almost grown, a year
Yeah.
from college, whatever. So you have to find another purpose. And that can be hard for a lot of us. And then you just have to humble yourself, you know, um, come back to earth. You're not in a war zone. You're not going back to a war zone. They can't call me back. I don't care what. They can't draft me. They can't do none of that stuff. Like that's over with completely. So I had to realize that, like, that's a chapter of my life. It was a great chapter, but it's over with. And then you have to find purpose in the second part of your life. If that's a career, if that's your family, if that's traveling, whatever it is, find a purpose after your career. That's my best advice.
Okay. And do you feel what there where did the traveling come into it for you?
Once I got out,
Yeah. Cuz I know you did a lot of travels while you were in the military, but coming out, like what in your mind, what did it told you like, all right, let me go to Mexico, let me go to Dominican Republic just to clear your mind? Like what was that like starting point for you?
well, it was while you serve, you get to see other cultures, experience other like you do a good job of that at such a young age. You've already, done a lot of that. But in the service, you get to experience a lot of different cultures. We're so diverse in the military.
Mhm.
You could be standing next to a Samoan, a Mexican, somebody that's white, somebody that's in the same squad. It could be
Yeah.
nine of y'all could be from nine different places. So you're constantly being exposed to different cultures, and you see how nice these people are. You see how great they are. You think, man, I want to go to Mexico. I want to go to the Philippines. I want to go to some of Samoa. I want to go to some of these places to see what it's like. And then to be honest, just the way America was. I was getting so frustrated with looking at the way we were operating in our country that I almost died for plenty of times, and seeing the politics, the social stuff, the feminist movement, all
Mhm.
this other stuff going on. I said, no, I can't be here. And that's what kind of set my antennas up. Like, I got to go do something else, and I got to go somewhere where I have true peace. And it just so happened that that was the Dominican Republic for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because some people would choose like Brazil,
Yeah,
Mexico, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, Philippines, Korea. They'll just go to these places. Why did you choose Dominican Republic?
proximity to the United States. That was big. I have four children and a granddaughter in the United States. My mother, family, whatever. They didn't have a lot of visa. They don't have visa laws and a lot of paperwork to do to
Okay.
stay here. That was really big for me too. I didn't want to every 4 or 5 months do a bunch of paperwork, or 6 months and pay all this money just to live in your country. So that was big for me. The weather was extremely big for me. That was
Yeah.
uh, we both see what's going on in the United States. If it's not a dust storm, it's snow, it's tornadoes, it's
Tornadoes.
fire. Every corner of our country is on fire, underwater. I couldn't take it anymore.
Mhm.
The weather, also the slowing down in the Dominican Republic is a very peaceful, slow-paced country, and I just love, yeah, you know what I'm getting at. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you order something, just wait 6 hours. It might show up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the
You
truth.
know?
Hey, my fridge
That's
working.
the
Ah,
truth.
yeah, yeah, tomato, tomato.
Right, 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 right. Tomorrow's like next week. So, but even with that, that don't bother me too much.
Yeah.
But the thing about the Dominican Republic that really made me say this is where I want to be was the veteran community. There, almost I think it's estimated about 20,000 veterans living on the island, not visiting, living on the island, and they're everywhere from Santo Domingo to Punta Cana to here on the North Coast. So that was probably the biggest thing when I came out here and visited a couple of times was how many veterans call this place home. So I get the brotherhood I was missing.
Okay. And from your standpoint, how did you like, okay, you know what? How long did it take for you to move to Dominican Republic? You just explained why you wanted to come here, but like you went home, you sold something. Like, what was that process like for you to move here?
It took me about a year, close to a year, to really dig into stuff. Now, some of the stuff I did, I actually was able to do while I was here. But the I had a battle buddy. Actually, he'll be here next week. That invited me out here for the first time. And I came out here with him, and I had a great time. And when I went back, I was like, okay, let me go back a couple more times. So the process, if you do it right, takes about a year. That's getting all your stuff in the state squared away and fixed and set. So when you come over here, you don't have to keep going back and forth unless that's something you want to do. So it took about a year. It took about a
Okay.
year for me to get everything right.
What was the specific things you had to kind of get squared away?
got rid of my house. That was the first thing. I owned a home in Baton Rouge. That was the first thing I did was get rid of that thing. Actually, my car was stolen before I left. My brand new 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L was stolen right out in front of my mother's house. About a month before I moved out here, so I didn't have to worry about that. But I was, in the process of getting rid of that. And then as a veteran, making sure all my VA stuff was straight before I left. Um, I don't. I see a lot of guys out here, veteran or not veteran, they're stressed out about everything in the state. I hear all the time, I pay more for stuff in the states than I do to live over here.
Mhm.
Right. So guys have cars and homes and $3,000-4,000 a month, but you're living over here off of $1,600 a month. And that just never made sense to me. So I just got rid of all that stuff. I have no obligations in the states financially other than filing some taxes, which is nothing.
Mhm.
So that way I can be completely free out here. And that's what I suggest. If you're gonna live here, let a lot of that, unless it's obviously bringing you in some type of income.
Income. So basically,
Right.
either cash out or figure out a way to like monetize whatever's left over. So if you have a property, rent it out, or you have some
Yes.
cars, leave it
Yes.
to relatives, or just sell them.
Right. Or just sell them.
Okay.
Definitely. Definitely.
No, no, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because again, yeah, like you, I hear it all the time. It's like, ah, man, I got rent, this and that. I'm like, bro, just live here full time. You might as well.
Right.
And
Exactly.
like, yeah, especially if you got family back home, you can crash at their house for a
Right.
night. I don't
Hmm.
see why you can't do that. Just sell your house, especially if you can sell it, cash out, come live
Yeah.
like Puerto Plata or Santo Domingo for a year or two, then figure out, okay, I like this area. Let me build something. Let me buy something because you can really make some
Right.
damage with $100,000 cash liquid. What?
Oh man. Especially out here, man.
Yeah,
Cool.
you
You can
can you
do
can
some
make
things
you
out
can
here.
make you do a lot of damage with a
Yeah.
hundred
You can
thousand
do some
dollars
things.
cash, and especially if you sold a
Hmm.
house and you paid most of it off. In this market, selling a house, these people buying the cash, man, you'll have so much money that you can invest with over there. And another thing, I kind of want to ask you, how is the medical situation there? Like, is the hospital? Have you gone to the hospitals? Is there like a place where you can get regular medical checkups, things of that nature?
You mean as a veteran or just in general?
Just in general, because I don't hear enough people talk about the like. I fly to DR or I fly to Colombia to do my blood work and just get a physical,
Mhm.
just to get my checkup. I can't. It's too expensive
Right.
here, so I'll just go get on
Right.
the flight, drink some coconuts for the weekend,
Right.
go to the doctor, get my checkup, and then come back home. So, like, you
Yeah.
live there. How is that process for you?
Well, currently where I live, I can walk. It might take me 6 minutes to walk to the hospital here in Sosua.
Okay.
That's how close I am. The pharmacy medical stuff is so cheap here. It was shocking because you almost feel like, wait, is this legit that I can get
It's a scam.
800 milligram Tylenol at the pharmacy right down the street, right? So, and I think this is just my opinion. I think it's because Dominicans don't get sick a lot. People here in Haitians, they don't get sick a lot.
Mhm.
The weather, how they eat, they don't have all the cancers and all the stuff we put in artificial stuff in our food. So I think they're healthier. Well, they are. They're
Yeah.
healthier than we are. Therefore, their medical stuff can be cheaper. They don't have the insurance fraud and those crooks we have in the United States. So that is a lot easier than
Mhm.
what anybody would think. And then if you're a veteran, we have veteran clinics here
Okay.
that will take care of any medical needs you need. Even so far that if you sign up for the insurance, if something so terribly wrong happens to you, they will fly you back to the state.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
How much does that cost for like an insurance package?
Currently, I want to say, don't quote me on it's about $130 a month or something
That's
like
not
that.
bad. That's not bad.
No, sorry, that's full.
But
That's
you don't
everything.
really need it. They got all the stuff here. You don't really need to, unless you got
No,
something like crazy.
yeah, their medical facilities here are amazing. I just really think they're amazing.
What's the name of the medical facility in Sosua? So if the people watching, they're like, all right, I want to go there on my next trip just to get some blood work done.
The hospital here now,
Yeah.
see that for me, I don't need to go there because we have veteran clinics here, so
Okay.
I haven't personally
You
been
have a
there.
person
I
you
don't
went.
even know the
Okay.
name of it. For vets, you don't need to go there. We have
Yeah.
vet clinics everywhere.
Okay. What's the vet
Um,
clinic called for the veterans who are there?
well,
They're
they
like,
have a
"Oh,
couple. So
okay.
they have Javante, which is right on Pedro Casante, like right down in Sosua. We also have USDR vets. They're out in Costa Bar and Puerto Plata. And then you also have MedVets. They're out in Puerto Plata. MedVets is also in Santo Domingo. I think they're in Punta Cana. There's a few clinics here, and there's some smaller ones. Those are the three major ones that I've been to and I use.
Okay.
But they do everything for us. So if you're a veteran, the hospital is not really an option for you.
Understood. Yeah, so I can give kind of. I only went to the hospital in Santo Domingo, and so my one of my cousins is actually a doctor. So whenever I'm in town, I hit up cuz, and she comes. She do all the translations. She does everything for me. I literally
Right.
just walk in. It's the university, or I think it's the military university hospital in Santo Domingo. It's a big one, and it's the outers of it don't seem like a
Right.
normal hospital, but when you get
Right.
inside, it got the hospital smell. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
it's up to standard. Because a lot of people think,
Right.
developing country, like, but like I've
Cleanest place
actually,
to ever be.
yeah, it's actually the
Mhm.
hospitals are solid. They got X-ray machines, and
Mhm.
if you're paying cash, I think like my knee was hurting. I wanted an X-ray. I think I paid $20 for an X-ray, and then my blood work was $15. Like I was just like,
Right.
hey, I was like, y'all do colonoscopies. Like, what else can I get done here? Like, what else can I get done here to just to knock it out and not have to do it when I get back to the States? But the medical is solid, and I forgot the other guy. I think the other guy's name, but
even
yeah.
even the dental, I had
Yes.
a couple teeth fixed, that would have cost me upwards, even with the VA, probably would have cost me upwards to $700-800.
Okay.
And then I come out here and it was like 325. And when I say as soon as I walked in the door, she put me in the chair. It
Yeah.
wasn't a wait time. It wasn't, they're gentle. They speak English. They set your next appointment. To wrap it all up, the medical treatment I've received here is the best medical treatment I've ever received anywhere I've ever lived,
Wow.
without question. Without
Okay.
question.
That's pretty big. That's pretty big. What was how was the life in the Dominican Republic? And what I mean by that, like what were the challenges you face living there, and what are kind of the cultural transitions you had to deal with?
Definitely, man. The one of the biggest challenges was the language. That was what I struggled with because I didn't practice it before I should have before I came out. Also, Dominicans speak their own version of Spanish, so learning just regular Spanish and Dominican Spanish is day and night. So I dove into their Spanish. That was one of the biggest challenges. The second thing was their culture is different in the sense where things they do that might frustrate you from where we come from in the States is normal here. Okay. It's very normal here. So we
Yeah.
talked about it earlier. A guy would say, "Hey, I'm coming by to fix your toilet at 1 o'clock
Yeah.
on Tuesday." And you say, okay. And he shows up on Wednesday of the next week
Mhm.
at 3 o'clock with no communication, no anything. He just pulls up and he's like, I'm here to fix your toilet.
Yeah.
That took some getting used to. Here in Sosua, you have to understand it's a tourist town. So here you're gonna get the tourist type energy where a lot of people are asking for money and they're asking for this and that. You gotta get used to that. You don't have to be rude. It took me
Yeah.
a little while to get used to that. I think initially when I got here, I kind of felt like I had to save all of Sosua financially, and then I kind of got out of that
Get
once I
used to it.
realized what it was. This is being honest about it. That was some of the biggest challenges, and then not having a car or things I'm used to. Right, I don't have a car here. I walk everywhere. That took a little getting used to is getting out, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, Cam. It's been like I said before. I really feel like it saved my life
Yeah.
coming here. I would have been in prison
Wow.
if I wouldn't have came here when I did,
Exactly.
because of the things I was dealing with in the states. The nicest, kindest people you'll ever meet, but at the same time, don't be a dummy, right?
You
Don't be
can
an
get
idiot.
got
You will get got. It's
100%.
gonna happen to
Can
you.
and
It's
will.
gonna happen to you. Right. It's gonna happen to you. Yeah. In some type of way, you're gonna get got.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
Facts.
take it on the chin and be smarter. Stop drinking. That's a
Okay.
big one.
What is because okay? Are you still living in Sosua or are you now in Puerto Plata?
No, I'm still in social.
You're still in Sosua. Okay, so since you're still in Sosua, how is it living in Sosua?
I personally love it. I know a lot of people have something to say about it, but I think a lot of the people that have something to say about it come out here for one thing and one thing only. Right. So I'm in the community. I'm out there with Flip. We're out there handing out toys. We're out there helping in schools, churches. So when you do that and you see the love that you get from these people and how they respect you for that and not just the BS that you see on all these people's platforms, that respect and that appreciation is something you can't put a mouth on.
Yeah.
So Sue is amazing. The beaches are amazing. It's the safest place. I'll say this again. It is the safest place I ever lived in my life. I could walk around at 3 o'clock in the morning. I could walk around all day. I don't have a knife, a gun. When I was in the States, I had a concealed carry in every state I lived in. I would check. I got my phone. I got my wallet. Oh, I forgot my pistol. Let me go back in the house and put my pistol
Same
on my
here.
hip. Right. I've never had that issue out here. I've never been robbed out here. I've never been in an altercation with any of the Dominican people here or the Haitian
Mhm.
people here. Um, it is, like I said, the safest place I've ever been. So Sua is amazing. The food, you have every type of food you want. Transportation is easy. Uh, and just the scenery, man, the mountains. We don't even get hurricanes here, man. Like, come on,
Oh, on
we're on
that
an
side.
island on this side. Yeah,
Oh
they have.
wow.
I don't think it's right. So with the mountain range, it all shoots up and goes towards New York, Baltimore, North Carolina. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
North Carolina and all those other places. But yeah, it's amazing, man. The weather, 75, 80 degrees
Yeah.
year round. What else can you ask for, man? I lost 25 pounds in 6 months
And that's because
without.
the food is real. That's not you. That's just you walking,
Right,
doing the natural things.
right. Right. I'm looking out in my backyard. I have a mango, coconut, and a banana tree right over my wall
Wow.
that I can just pick and eat. Me
Mhm.
and the dog was eating bananas this morning. You know?
Hey, Sergeant Dawn living better than most of us.
He is. He's living his best life,
That man
bro.
got a pillow. He got his own bed. He got his own little
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. I
a
get up in the
mural.
morning, open. Oh, he got a mural. He on everything, man. Yeah,
He got a mural.
yeah, man. He
Yeah,
living his best life.
he is. He is. And so, like, all right, because you're living in Sosua, people are like, man, where I'm gonna go get a haircut at and do all these things. Okay, how should I word this? Let me word this better. Let me word this better because you're living in
I know
Sosua,
where you're going.
and we're talking about I'm talking about healthy maintenance of a man. I'm talking about going to get a manicure, pedicure, hair braided, facials, not those type of facials, pause, but just just beard trim, massages,
Right.
just everything of that nature. You're able to do that there and at affordable price. Can you kind of like just walk them through it? Because I remember you told me like I think it's Saturday. or Fridays, you have like a day you just get all this stuff done. It's your relaxing day
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
man. Hey, I learned that from the women in the States. Like it's a self-care day.
Self care day.
So
Yeah,
I
that was
used to
what I
have
was
to
looking for.
right. I used to have to pay for their self-care days, but yeah, it's nice, man. So I personally go to Santana's. Now, Santana's is known, all around. He has barbershops everywhere.
Mhm.
It's gonna be more expensive, right? You can get a haircut out here for 500 pesos or less than $10, right? You can get manicures and pedicures for less than $20 all day. I personally like Santana's because we all know how we are with our barbers. We're very loyal to our barbers, right? So once he cut me right the first time, that was it. Why take a chance, right? Once the girl's sister braided me up the right way, that was it. And it's so convenient to text her. At, you know, they don't get up till about noon, 1 o'clock, but you can text her and say, "Hey, can I get my hair braided today?" Yep. What time? 3 o'clock. They show up at 4, and then she's ready to go.
Yeah.
But it's just the environment in there. They're playing music. Sometimes their kids are in there. They dancing, they eating, they offering you food and something to drink. It's just that environment. I remember being in the States, man. I was paying about 140, $150 to get my hair braided and cut. I
Yeah.
pay less than $60 here. And that's
The
she takes
total.
all my braids out. Yeah,
Mhm.
she washes my hair, then she braids it, then I get in the chair next to it and he cuts it. Cam, stop, bro. Stop. Yeah. Hey, hey, you almost got me ran about spot, man.
Hey, it's coming in, man. It's coming
It
in, you
is.
know?
It is. I told her, I said, look, my nephew's coming back in a couple months. And she said, we gonna get it right. We gonna get it right.
Man, just like you said, the self-care, I wasn't taking care of my hair. I had to cut it and start over.
Yeah,
So I had
definitely.
to start over, man. It's just like
Yep.
you really got to
Yep.
condition oil, dude. I
Yep.
would just because I was on the road for months. Like I was never home, so
Right.
I wasn't. I'll wake up, soap, water, and then just keep hopping on
You ready?
buses, country to country.
Yeah.
And then when my barber back home, 4 or 5. Like, I haven't gotten a haircut in 2 months already, but he went in there. He's like, "Bro, your hair is like messed up, man." And it
Mhm.
just because again, I wasn't taking care of myself. So if you are like traveling a lot, moving around a lot, I would say like buy the proper oils. Just get the
Yeah.
smaller version so they can pass through TSA and the airport and carry that. That's what I do now. Now I take care of my skin and just have all that there. I get my manicure, pedicures. It's still
Mhm.
hard for me to get a haircut though because I get razor bumps. So make sure you go to
Yeah.
someone who cleans their razors. If you feel
Right.
like the spot is sketch, just say, "Hey, nah, I'm cool." However you got to
Yeah.
figure that out. But the barbershop I went to where you're getting your hair braided, they look like they cleaned over there. All the guys, they look sharp,
Definitely.
no complaints. So make sure you find a place like that who actually takes care of their clients and also their materials that they're using.
And you can go a step further. Like they've given me stuff for my hair,
Yeah.
natural stuff. Stuff they pull out of the jungle out here that I put like literally that I
Yeah.
put in my hair that like it was an oil, like an avocado, coconut, something oil.
Mhm.
And my hair, my hair was falling out. Plus I was thinning right
Yeah.
here in the middle. And she started putting that stuff in my hair, and I don't have any of those issues. And then also, they don't take offense if you buy the stuff that you want and bring it there and let them use that stuff for you. I do it all the time. I bring a lot of the stuff that I use, um, because they a lot of times they can't afford all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I bring the stuff. I order off of Amazon or the stuff she gives me, and I bring it with me. And then she uses it, and then I take it home with me. So it's not an issue at all. And it's still, like I said, $60
Yeah.
for all that. So I
Just
get
said
my
you
hair
just said
braided.
you bought stuff on Amazon. Can they purchase things off Amazon and DR?
Yes. So we have what EPS, which is right on Pedro Casante. They give you a U.S. address, which is in Miami, or Dora,
Mhm.
Doral, Miami, Florida. They ship it there. Add about 2 or 3 days. It's going to be right here. They text me. Good morning, Mr. Byron. How are you? Your packages are here. Whenever you want to go pick it up, I go down there, give them, a couple dollars or whatever, and then I get my packages. So they come straight to Pedro Casante.
Okay, and you just got to go pick it up, and you can order
Gotta go
everything you
pick it
need.
up.
I've
Right. Or you can
definitely
call him Moto.
seen
You can call
packages.
him Moto, and he'll bring it to your house if you want to. I don't
Okay.
trust that, but you can.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Nah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
go
not
pick
doing
it
that.
up. You
Yeah,
wait for
trust
me
me.
right there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So we went on from self-care days. Now, you know, everyone who knows about Sosua, they only think of Sosua for one thing, the
Yep.
chicas.
Yep.
So living there, what was the difference from seeing the two different sides of visiting and actually living in Sosua? Because people see Sosua from the YouTube videos and they just think, it's only the chicas there selling box, and I'm just gonna go buy party club. There's nothing else for me to do aside that. You're now living there and you see a different side of it. Can you kind of go through that for us?
Definitely. I compare it to living in Vegas. Right. There's plenty of people that live in Las Vegas that don't gamble, they don't drink, and they're not on the strip
Right.
buying marijuana and messing with the hookers and stuff out there. So that's always touched me when people complain about Sosua because I'm kind of on my soapbox now, right? Because, like really, because this bothers me, Cam, when it comes to Sosua.
Yeah.
There's every major city in the United States operates just like Sosua,
Mhm.
right? The only difference about Sosua and most of these other places is they're honest about what they're doing, right? The police will walk by the chicas that's walking up and down the street and they talk to them and they know their family. We all know what's going on. The difference is here in Sosua, they separate the ratchetness from everything else that's going on. Not like we do in the States where we
Yeah.
got sexy red and Megan Thee Stallion, everybody shaking their behinds on TV and doing all this ratchet stuff, but we accept it. Look at her. Look at here. They say, okay, you want to do ratchet stuff? You do that over there. The rest of Sosua, the rest of Puerto Plata and Cabarete, it is normal people with families and churches and having a great time. They have the band, they have the kids, playing, you know, in the parades. You can go to beaches, you can do all kinds of stuff. That part of Sosua is just what people want to see.
Mhm.
That is, if I had to put a percentage on it, it might be 10% of what Sosua really is in this area. And the people that think that's all that is about Sosua is the only people that's looking for that in Sosua. No different than Vegas. I know plenty of people that go to Las Vegas and don't gamble.
Yeah.
They love the food. They love the lights. They love the shows.
The
They love
fantasy.
everything. The fantasy about Las Vegas. So Sua is the same thing. But if you come here and you just want to chase chicas, you can do that too,
Mhm.
right? And the people here are some of the nicest people. Now you're gonna have your bad people anywhere.
Of
Yeah,
course.
because you're gonna have people you gotta watch out for. If you're male, you're gonna get pursued. You are hunted out here when it comes to that part of Sosua. But if you respectfully be like, you know what? Nah, I'm good. Like I'm good on that. They're just gonna say, okay, have a good day, and they're gonna go on about their way.
Mhm.
So I don't see anything wrong. And like I said, the safest place. We have tourist police here.
Yeah.
Okay, we know what the police do to people that look like us in the United States. I've never been in a place in my life where they have police, regardless from black, white, whatever, and they're here to help protect me.
Mhm.
I challenge anybody to compare that to how we police in our country. So it's a beautiful place, man. A safe place.
No, that is very true. Especially my favorite part is walking on that beach and seeing the mountains on the other side.
Oh,
That's always one of those that I'm like, damn, this is like I love that. And just again speaking to being in Sosua, like I've gone to Sosua for 3, 4. I'll let it get on a bus for 3 hours, eat, chop it up with the homies, be gone on another 3 hour bus ride back to Santo Domingo.
you did it
Just
last time.
I do it all the time. And people don't believe me. They're like, you just go and eat chicken
Mhm.
at Flips and go
Yeah,
here, go there. Yeah. But that's
yeah,
that's just how I am. I do that here too, man. I go to this restaurant in Aventura. It's a Jewish restaurant. It's called Moe's Bagels. And I'll go there. They open at like 8 a.m. I'm there at 8 a.m. Like 7:55 in my car waiting till they open up. I get the same guy that serves me. He comes through. He's like, "Ah, damn,
right,
you don't got like a family? Do you want to go?" I'm there like clockwork every Sunday. So
right,
y'all want to come shoot the fade with me? I'll be there every Sunday,
right.
7:55 waiting in my car to eat breakfast and get my bagel, man. So it's
Yeah.
something. It's just kind of like you said. It's building habit, doing the things you're comfortable with. Hey, you don't want to mess with the girls. There are regular women that live in Sosua. The girls you're
So
seeing
many.
interacting with are the ones is you got to really step outside of yourself, meaning that learn the language is one of the
Right.
biggest. You can find a
That's the
cheap
biggest thing.
teacher there when you're living there, 10, $15 an
Hmm.
hour.
Yep.
Because I think you'd go
Right.
into that right now, practicing Spanish.
Mhm. And then also you talked about the brotherhood. That's something that I have yet to hear anybody on any platform in any country talk about like we talk about here in Sosua. You can go come to Sosua and you can sit and flip, and there'll be a
Exactly.
brother next to you. And one thing he's gonna do is he's gonna speak. And I say this about Sosua. Um, two things that I feel that men beef over: either money or women. That's the two things get you killed with most men. You mess with a woman, you mess with their money. That's the two things in Sosua that you never worry about. If you're here, you probably have some money. We're not beefing over money here. We don't. Nobody cares about that. And the women are everywhere, right? So you shouldn't be beefing over them. So you see men just at peace and relaxing and getting that reset. And me and you talked about this. This is one of the only places I've been where I've seen somebody your age all the way up to 60 years old, sitting in the
Yep.
same space, having a great conversation, no judgment, no, hey, he get this young kid out of here or these old ninjas out of here, and everybody's having a good time, right? So, yeah, man, that's what Sosua is, man. If you come out here looking for that, for the brotherhood, you will have no problem. It can be your paradise too.
And I said the other good thing about Sosua, it's very small, and you're gonna run into people you vibe with, you talk. I don't know how many
Man.
times I was in one spot. I seen the same guy. I was there for 3 days. I seen the same guy 7 times. I'm like, bro, we might let me get your number, bro. Put your number so I
Right,
can
let's just hang out.
see you, my guy. And we see each other. We'll sit down and have a 20 minute.
Right,
Let me get your drink, Cam. I got you. Go ahead, bro. Right out. I got
right.
you. I'll pay for it. But it's just one of
Yeah.
those things where you can literally sit down, talk, chill with the brothers. And I love what Flip has at the restaurant is you can watch the sports games, you can talk, the wings are good, the food is good, and the staff is great. Beach is right there.
They're
So
amazing.
everything kind of just coincides with each other. And you walk around, hotels are not too far, and just interaction. And I think that's where a
Right,
lot of people miss out sometimes when you're from a big city is male interaction. And when I like
right,
no gay stuff, but just for real, like
right,
some
right.
people need to have the yo, I'm hurt, I'm hurting. I just got divorced. Like I don't want to say the brother's name. Brother said, hey, I want to hurt myself. I just got divorced and lost my houses. And you said, hey, pull up on me. He came there, and then guess what? He was smoking his cigars. He got his hair. He was the happiest you
Right.
would have ever thought. Man, just got divorced 2 weeks ago. So
Mhm,
it's things of that.
mhm.
It's the community. It's having other people who help and support you. Don't take advantage of those people. So those people give them a
Right.
hand, give them a hand back, and take care of them. But I think that was my biggest thing was having like mentors, meeting them on a beach, meeting them in that area who can just give you game. And that's what you've
Yeah,
given me. That's what other brothers have given me. So now I can
and
just
you said a key word in walkable,
yeah,
right? I'm from a big city. You live in a big city that we can't walk,
can't.
right? It's impossible. You can't walk. Probably be more scared to walk in the city where I grew up than I would anywhere
Yeah,
else, right?
yeah.
But I like the cheers feeling of Sosua. I like when I go to a certain place, they say, hey, good morning, Keith. They know my name. Shoot, most of these people out here know my dog, right? They say, how's Ozzy? Like, it's the first thing they ask me, how's Ozzy? Like, we don't care about your skinny black self. How's the dog doing, right? So to get that consistently, and I said this to a brother the other day, I can literally be on Pedro Casante and fall down and pass out. And I have no doubt that at least 10 to 15 people won't say, hey, that's Keith. He lives here. We know him. Somebody help.
Mhm.
I have no doubt. If I fell out in my neighborhood that I grew up in, I'm just gonna die right there.
But we're
And
gonna
I
check your
believe that.
pockets though. Just like
Right, right. After they run my pockets. Right. After they run.
size 13. All right, bet. Let's go.
Right. Let me get them too. Right. Let me get them
I
too.
need some extra hair for my cigarettes.
Right.
Free time. No,
Yeah,
actually,
man.
you dirty, man. And it's funny that you say that. I was in Bogota, Colombia, and there was like this bicycle lane. One dude flew off his bike, his leg was stuck in the wheel. I'm sitting there, I'm like, everyone else around me is running and helping them. Like, it's 14 people helping him take his leg out, picking him up. Like, you all right? You all right, bro? Dusting him off. You good? You look at face, a little scratch here. and they all picked him up and dust him off. I don't know how many times I've done bust my ass on my bike in South Beach. Ain't nobody just damn laughed at me.
They like this.
Damn, like it's
Right.
just like, yeah, I don't know how many times that happened to me, and to see that there and everyone running to pick the guy up and help him out and make sure he's all right. It's like it's a beautiful thing, and sometimes you just kind of have to step outside of yourself to really see it. And like you said, growing up in these communities where it's just like depression, death, and all these other things, and no finances, it's hard. So when you go to these other places and their finances is way worse than you,
Way worse.
family who's dying, car accident and stuff is way worse than you, but they're walking around every day, still helping out their friends, still smiling on their face,
Yeah.
still just trying to get it, even though they don't have the same opportunity as you.
Yeah. I got to tell you the story, man. So one of the things that really just stamped my ticket here. I already been here a couple times, right? I'm walking through Walmart, Cam. The sister
Mhm.
now. She's probably about 300 and something pounds, right? But she had her hair braided, something amazing. Right? This is before my hair was as long as it was. Anyway, I said, you know what? I know how people are at home. She probably doesn't get a lot of compliments as a woman because she was overweight. And I walked up to her and I said, hey, sis, your hair, you just today you were just killing it. She had her makeup right. She was beautiful, right? And this sister looked at me, Cam, and sucked her teeth and was like, "Ah." And Cam, I swear, now I've been to the DR. I've been so the first thing I thought was,
I know you was mad as hell.
right, I want,
Mofo.
I want, I want to say the only thing you can do for me is make me a sandwich. I was not trying to hit on you. I just want to give one of my black, women a compliment. And
Nope.
and I say all this to say that here, it don't matter if I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning walking my dog. It don't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm walking home. If I if you make eye contact, somebody's gonna speak and they're gonna smile. I get more smiles here a day than I ever did back home. And when she did that to me, it just kind of stamped it like this is exactly why I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Because those people there are so happy and then, with the smallest amount of resources, right? And they're still happy. And it just I'll never forget that. I'll never forget her face. I'll never forget anything about that situation because I was just like, this is why I'm leaving because of stuff like this.
No, no, I understand exactly how you how you feel. That I had similar experiences. And shoot, even me walking around the street with flowers in my hand, ladies, those flowers for me. I'm like, nah, it's for me. Wait, it's for my grandma. Oh, that's so cute, que lindo. They'll just talk. They just see with
Right.
flowers. They just want to have a conversation. Where you going with those flowers? They for me?
Right.
Like the whole
Yeah.
barrio,
Yeah.
everyone in the road just stop. Hey, those for me. Those for me. You can give me one. I'm a grandma
Right.
too. I'm a mom too.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's
man.
actually it's a beautiful sight.
It is. It is. It is.
And
They just
and I would
they just
yeah,
look
go ahead.
happy.
Yeah, no, you will be happy, that's for sure. So you know, this is what brother's gonna say, man. This is all they're gonna skip all everything we spoke about. Garbage.
Right.
This is all they want to hear about. Tell us about the women in Sosua. Meeting
Well,
them, dating them, like walk them through a process of living there.
yeah,
I got a
I
couple
think
questions on that, so we'll have multiple layers, man. Let's break it down.
um I got it. There's beautiful women on every corner of this planet, no matter where you go. But I will tell you, the diversity and the natural beauty of the women in this area it's shocking to me every day. It is nothing for me to walk to the grocery store and the girl that works in the grocery store by my house, if she was close to my age, I probably would have proposed when I picked up my bread. I swear to you, Cam. I swear to you, every time I see this girl, I just keep saying my son need to bring his tail out here so I can, so I can hook him
That
up.
boy said he gonna propose every time.
Man, I can't. Every time I leave the house, I see one, and I'm not talking about the ones working that you see in the little tight
Mhm.
spandex on the street every day,
Yeah.
all day. I'm talking about the ones in the supermarket, the mail room, um, some of the restaurants, like those type of places. The bank here in Sosua
Oh,
at
yeah,
Papa
you know, they be
Lair.
hitting in the bank.
Oh my goodness, man! That customer service area, it's almost like they handpicked them. Like, no, you're not cute enough to work here,
Yeah.
or you don't have a
Big too.
body to work here. Like, and they're natural. You don't see the
Yeah.
eyelashes and the fake hair. Um, I think they have some weird standard that you got to look at them.
The manager of mail
Right,
probably.
he gotta be, bro.
Come here, dog. Y'all going.
Right, he gotta be, man. Man, I'm talking about every shade, every color. We have a huge Haitian community out here, so you're gonna get everything from our color all the way to almost white.
Mhm.
When it comes to and they have their own colorism problems. I care less,
Yeah,
but
it's the colorism, man. Just it's
yeah,
everywhere. It's in the
yeah, it's
U.S. It's
everything.
here. I just
Everything.
I never had it really put in my face. I had some
Right.
relatives that do. That's usually the older generation. The new age people, they don't really seem to care. You just may hear it from the elders. But since
Yes.
you're living in Sosua, what is the best way for men to find non-working women in Sosua?
Don't come to Sosua. I'm just gonna be honest. Go to Puerto Plata. Go to Cabarete. Don't go to Roomba's, Bailey's, the casino out here. Don't go to the spots where they hang out. You right. If you want to find a woman outside of the environment, go outside of the environment. Right. Go to the Supermercado Playero here has 20 of the most beautiful women I've probably seen in my life working every day. They're there at 8 in the morning, they're there until 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't believe they're working because I
Mhm.
also see them in church, right? I don't see them out at all. If you're a man and you're looking for a woman here to settle down with that's not working, don't present yourself like you want a working girl. I heard a guy the other day ask a regular woman how much, and she just started cussing him out in Spanish.
Wow.
And he didn't understand Spanish. So he looking at me like, yo, sorry, do something. I'm like, I ain't doing nothing. You deserve that. Right?
Yeah.
Like, learn to ask her name, how she's doing. But at this point, with all the videos and all the stuff people put out, if you can't tell a working girl from a regular girl with all the information we put out on all between Ron, Jay, Flip, you, me, if you can't figure that out by now, you deserve to get a working girl. That's just how I feel.
Yeah.
Because you're not listening, at this point. So I don't know, man. That for me, it's all about how you present yourself.
Exactly. And I would say another thing is befriend people and they'll introduce you. Like they'll tell how you are. Like I remember my Uber driver, his daughter is in law school. He's like, hey, you done roll. I think he been driving me around for like 2 years now. And he's just like, man, you're not married. I got a daughter for you. His daughter's pretty. I just, know yourself as a person. Nah, man,
Right.
not right now. It's not a good time. Don't go around here and just because the girl's pretty, knock it down and just be done, man. That's not the
Right.
best way you should do it, man. So still move with some sense of character. And that's the problem. A lot of these guys don't have character. They come in
Exactly.
here, it's demon
Mhm.
time, and that's it. And your mindset
Yep.
stays on demon time. But like you said,
Yep.
hey, I live here now. I'm gonna be on demon time the rest of my life. You're gonna die doing that.
Exactly.
It's just
Exactly.
not sustainable.
Exactly.
You're gonna go
Right.
broke.
Not
It,
saying-
it's not sustainable. And you see guys that live there who may have get their monthly checks from the VA or however that happens in 3-4 grand, and they're broke by the end of the month, and they gotta wait hey, let me borrow $100.
Yep.
I need a couple days for food until the next check hit.
Hmm.
Because guess what? They're just still in that mindset of sex, 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 and that's not going to help them out with their problems. They're really having
No,
some
not at
internal,
all.
yeah,
Right. And your best, in my experience, the best women I've met has been by referrals.
yeah,
It's either
facts,
somebody I help, somebody I talk to, somebody that knows me out here and says, "Man, you're a good dude. This is my honor. This is whoever." Those have been my best experiences because they trust you. Um, that's always, and it's usually by somebody local. It's not an American like, "Hey,
yeah,
my girl's got a friend." No, no. It's somebody local, and then like you said, if you're working on the language, you can communicate with them with the language. that's a plus off the top because that shows them you're trying. It drives me, Cam, when I hear dudes with these country ass Alabama accents out here trying to talk and then get frustrated if they don't understand. Negro, I can barely understand your English. How do you expect them to understand it? So yeah, man, that's big, man. You got to show these people that you're not just here, like you said, for demon time, and leave that alcohol alone. That's the other
Leave the
big
alcohol. Don't smoke nothing. You don't know what's in it, man. I say just you really gotta protect yourself.
definitely,
Protect
definitely.
yourself and find other people who are already here who may be able. Hey, I know a weed guy who can. You'll be safe with
Hmm.
this. I know what. Don't drink that
Exactly.
alcohol. That thing's low quality. You're gonna mess up your liver. And I think that those are the conversations you need to have. But so what I would say, so you said, don't go in Sosua. So, have you dated any women outside of the Sosua area seriously, or that's just not what you're, or do you know people who are in serious relationships outside of Sosua there in the Dominican Republic?
I know plenty. I most of the men my age or older that they want to settle down. They're getting older, so they have pretty much a wife, or that's what you want to call it, in Puerto Plata and Cabarete. That they live with them. They're with them every day. I know guys that have girlfriends in San Domingo. The girl I talk to, like on the regular, is in San Domingo.
Yeah.
So, and I like that because there's a distance, right? And then when we see each other, it's kind of like, hey, I haven't seen you in a little while. It's nice to see you. So you can definitely have. And she's a nurse. She's a mother. Family's amazing. I've never seen a picture of her bent over or twerking or none of that. And
No
that'd
tongue
be
out,
everything,
hand
right?
on the
Yeah, if you going on her social media, or even if she has a lot of social media, and every picture she's bent over or in a bathing suit showing her, like, why would you think that's somebody you need to try to
yeah,
do something lasting with? Like, it's different if y'all together. But I mean, come on, man. If she's in a twerk position every picture, man, what do you expect?
exactly.
So yeah, I say I'm for the streets, which I am. Don't get it twisted. But yeah, of course, there's somebody that I like, spending my time with. So that's easier than what any man can think out here.
Mhm. And
When
the
it,
lady you met, is that someone you met through a referral or someone you met in person? Like, how did that?
I actually met her in person in
Okay.
San Domingo. You were talking about have I been to the hospital? So the one in San Domingo, when I went down there, I kind of got sick, and I
Mhm.
thought I was sicker than what I was. And when I went in, she was my nurse,
Okay.
and she didn't speak no English, and my Spanish was horrible at the time. So we were sitting there like helping each other learn at the same time. Long story short, she ended up being amazing. We went out on a couple of dates. Her family was amazing. I had a great time with her. I vetted her since I've been here.
Mhm.
I've been talking to her the whole time I've been here, and I've been vetting her the entire time I've been here.
Okay.
Social media, whatever, and she hasn't showed me anything that would make me nervous.
Okay. Well, you said something interesting just now. What is your vetting process for
social
women?
media, social
Social
media
media.
is the big one. Social media is a big one. Instagram, Facebook, any of the social media platform. TikTok, that's a big one now too. Also, um, kind of seeing how they live in a sense. There's a lot of Western Union poppies, which I understand. I'm not judging anybody on that. If that's what you
Guilty.
do, right? We've all done it, bro,
Yeah,
or doing
guilty.
it, right? Or doing it. So I'm not. Don't. I want nobody to think I'm throwing a shot, right?
Yeah.
But I'll go through their Western Union. I'll look at their income, and I'll for real, bro. For real, I do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna start doing that. Let me see your PayPal. Give me your phone.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Let,
a
let
good
me
one.
let me see. Right. And I've caught a couple girls where she had like a you know damn near $2,000 a month coming in. I'm like, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
good on that. You know what I'm saying? But that also how they dress, if they're big on the weave and the makeup and the eyelashes, and then sometimes how they talk. If they're a big cusser and drinker and smoker like that, that's not gonna work for me. I just
Okay.
can't take. Yeah, I just can't take a lot of credit, even though I was drinking and doing all that stuff. If they do that, it's just kind of a red flag.
Yeah. So and here we go. You kind of just like you touched on the topic there. I always hear guys say, "I don't know how to vet the women here." It's the same like vetting in the United States. It's literally the same
Mhm,
process, just the language is
mhm.
different. So you look
That's
for the
it.
same things. Like I'm not into the big eyelashes. I'm not into the weaves and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of tattoos. I understand some of these
Yep,
people they get tattoos when
yep.
they're young, and you ask them a lot of times, "Yeah, I regret it. I just don't have the money to get it removed." Some of them gonna
Right,
tell you, "Hey, I got that tattoo. I was 16. I was rebellious. And I got a tattoo between my chest, and I wish it
right.
wasn't here. And if I had the money, I would have got it removed." Some will be honest with you and tell you that, but you just have to vet. And what I'm noticing, everyone who complains about the relationship they're in or stuff like that, they just got a whole red flag and it's sitting there
Yeah,
because brothers are lazy.
yeah,
Brothers are
yeah,
lazy. They won't really for you to find that girl or you to find that relationship. You got to do some research. It's gonna be
definitely.
difficult, but some of y'all just want to be laid up, get your
That's
blow
it.
job when you wake up, get your food
That's
made.
it.
But guess
Yep.
what? She doing dirt on the side.
And then Cam, if she ain't got no job, how the hell you think she feeding her kid and
Yeah.
feeding herself? That's the one red flag that it always confuses me out here when they're like, "Yeah, she's selling hair and doing." I'm like, "Come on, bro! Like, come on, man! Like, that's paying for her rent, the car, her, all this other stuff, man. If she
Kids
don't
private
get
school.
up, right, kids private school, she's not getting up and going to work. Same thing
Yeah.
in the state. You meet a woman in the state, she don't work. Well, at least in the state, she could be on Section 8, food stamps,
Yeah.
child support. They don't have that here.
Exactly.
So they don't have that here, and she's not getting up every day to go do something. How do you think she's making her money? Like it should take a genius to figure that out.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
that
listen.
that's a big
Availability. If a girl's too available, she's free all the time. She can spend her whole weekend. That's a problem. And I always tell brothers that. What is she doing throughout the week? Or you can just fly in on a random Wednesday and you got her for 6 days. Hey, there's
yeah,
no
yeah,
jobs like that where they can get the whole week
yeah,
off like that, unless
yeah.
it's
And
holidays for both in the family.
I'll tell you this: there's a waitress out here. Of course, I'm not gonna say a name or where she works at. I'm not gonna say it, but she worked at this restaurant. You never seen her on social media. You never seen her showing her body. You never seen nothing. She's up getting fired from that restaurant. You go on that same girl's social media right now. Everything she doing is twerk thing, right? Because she don't have no income now.
Mhm.
So she go back to what a lot of women do, but
Yeah.
going back to what she knows. So that's what I'm saying. If she's already doing that, then and she don't have a job, how you think she's feeding herself? Like it's not that cheap to live out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
What I'm
no,
saying?
no, I agree with you 100%, man. Because that's
Right.
like kind of one of those things, man. That it's like, guys, it's the same vetting process. It's the same here
Yeah.
as you do back home. Just y'all just don't know how to
Mhm.
choose, and you see it. And I'm not saying every woman's perfect and stuff. Like I've messed up choosing people, but you
Yeah.
got to
Oh yeah.
first because you got to get to know somebody too. And that in those three months, a year, you're gonna figure it out. Okay, all right, this person's a red flag, and I know it sucks because what happens is the investment process when you
Yeah.
invest so much, you're like, bro, I put 4 bands in this chick over the
Yeah.
last 5, 6 months. I put $4,000. No,
Right.
it can't go this easy.
Yeah, man.
I need my ROI. I need my return on investment. And I had those
Right.
battles so many times. Like, I just paid for this girl whole school. I paid for your
Yeah.
school.
Yeah,
God
man.
damn
Yeah. Hey,
it.
Ken, I'm going through that as we
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
As we speak. Like, man, I did a lot for you and your
Yeah.
daughter. And now
Yeah.
it's kind of like, you know what? But that was my fault because I got mesmerized by the treatment
Exactly.
when you're around me. But when you're not around me, you're a totally different person.
Yeah.
And I got caught up in the same thing, man. We're not the first, we won't be the last.
Yeah. That's a big sign too, right there. When you're here and when you're not there, what are you doing? Because
What are you doing?
you see, and I remember a cousin of mine told me this. He said, "I've been loved before." He said, "I know what love is. This stuff that you're doing is a simulation of love, but it isn't love."
Right.
He's an attorney, so
Right.
he got the words. He can flip it. He said, "This is a
Right.
simulation of love. You're showing me things that a woman would do who loves me, but you don't really love me because I can tell from you never even asked me what I did for work. You didn't ask, it's certain questions. If a girl likes you, she's gonna ask you certain questions. Oh, like how's your mom? You got siblings? You got this,
Right.
things. if they're not curious about you, then there's like that's a problem. And you got to be
Problem.
careful in especially areas with high incoming, like high, like people who don't high gringos. When there's a lot of gringos in the
Right.
area where visitors and here on vacation, you got to be careful because what happens is, some of those women, hey, when enough people start throwing a bait, one of them gonna snag and one of them gonna take it. So that's why when you go to those small towns, like what's that place in Puerto Plata you were telling me about?
Coaching bar.
You go over there to that small town. There's not a lot of tourists there, so you'd be
Right.
fine. You can meet somebody who's gonna be a local person and just get to know them on that level, man.
Yeah,
But
definitely. And the Dominican culture is they live for the day.
yeah,
A lot of times, it's kind of their mindset. I know it's hard for a lot of people to understand, but they live like we got to eat today. Tomorrow, I'll worry about tomorrow. So, like
yeah,
you
it's not
said,
promised.
right? If you're dealing with a woman, and like you said, all these gringos are coming in, and she's not doing that, she's gonna look at it like, hey, there's probably gonna be 300 people in Sosua um, come tomorrow. Well, Thursday everybody comes in,
They
but
come for the
they
weekend.
are here. Yeah, all the weekend warriors are here. So she's gonna look at it sometimes as, man, there's 300 men coming in. I can probably make 800, $900 in 2 days, and I ain't got to deal with you. I don't care if you
And one
paying
of them
somebody
may
to do
save
it.
me.
And, and that's a good chance too,
One
right?
of them may save me.
So yeah, that's normal out here.
Yeah. And
That's very normal.
in conclusion, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing now? Because you got a shirt on, you have your website, veteransinparadise.com. Can you speak a little bit about that? The things you guys are doing and the things you are building.
Yeah, definitely, man. So we started my John the writer and myself. We started veteransinparadise.com, and it was to get information out to veterans and show them that you can live abroad and you can live a happier and healthier life. That's the baseline of what we do. So we try to put out information. We try to give them, plugs and introduce them to business owners and restaurant owners and lawyers and anything they need to where it makes that transition easier for the both of us, uh, easier than what it was for the both of us. So, like I said, we have veteransinparadise.com. We're also doing a fundraiser for a local school. Actually, it's Flip's fiance's school.
Okay.
We're donating laptops to the top 20 academic kids at her school, um, to help them out. We're doing, a lot of community work, and we're just trying to bring the veteran community together. One thing I noticed came out here when I came out here is there was a bunch of vets, and none of them were talking to each other. So, yeah, there's our mission. There's our website. We have a fundraiser on there. John's Guide to Living Abroad. You can click on that. You can click on my story where I talk about my transition from the military into civilian life and living abroad. We have a free veterans membership. So you click on there, it's free to sign up. We send out a monthly newsletter with a bunch of information. We also feature a vet every month and they get to tell their story. So we're just trying to bring the veteran community together because that's what we know. We're not excluding anybody. I don't want anybody to think that because most of the contributors and the people that help us are not, they're not veterans.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to bring the community together, man, and then help our community. That's what we do as service members, right? That we're known for that. We're doing beach cleanup. We're handing out toys. So that's my big thing now. I'm transitioning into the community work more than I am anything else. And that's why you don't see me on a lot of platforms no more because I'm
Yeah.
trying to keep that my goal and that's my purpose.
Yeah.
So I did my damage.
You did your mongering.
Cam. You seen the video, you seen the
Yeah.
pictures, Cam. I've done my damage.
So anyone can be a member.
No, so the membership is just for veterans.
Damn.
And that well, it's a
Hey,
reason
I'm a
for that.
veteran of the game.
Right. It's a reason for that. But
Yeah.
our veterans networking event, which will be April 9th in Flip Flop,
Is it on
everybody's
the
welcome to
site
come.
as well?
It's not on the site, not the date. It's not on the
Okay.
site, but
All right.
it's on everything else. And I think we just put out a flyer.
Okay.
Um, but anybody that supports the veteran community or wants to just support the local community, feel free to go in there, ask any questions. Um,
Yeah, you can contact it here. There's an email, veteransinparadise at
email, everything. Yeah.
gmail.com. You got the phone number
Yep.
everywhere you can donate, PayPal's. Yeah.
And it's only $5 to donate. Like these
Okay.
laptops, they're not costing a lot. So we're gonna hand them out, present them to the school, and then we're gonna move on to our next community event.
Okay.
But April 9th, Flip Flop Sports Bar, 6 to 8:30, Veterans Networking event. If you're a veteran and or business owner or anything you have going on that can help the community or help veterans, please show up and let us know what's going on so we can support whatever business, whatever you're doing.
Oh yeah, that's cool. So anytime, 'cause I got a bunch of stuff I don't need, man. You know what I'll do next time? I'll pack an extra bag and I'll just drop it off to you. You can
Bring it, man.
do it how
Bring
you
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Because too many of us, we got extra iPhones laying around. Kids need some tablets,
Man. Yeah.
computers, some book
Yeah.
bags you aren't using, some clothes too. If you guys got some extra clothes,
Definitely.
toiletries for the
Mhm.
ladies,
Yep.
underwear for the kids, some flat basketballs, footballs you're not using, bring them in
Any
because
of that.
these kids need it.
Yeah, and like you said, if anybody wants to drop any of that stuff off, contact me. I don't care where you're at in the zoo. I will come get it. You don't have to come find me. I will come find you. We can meet at Flips, whatever. I'll start collecting that stuff so we can give it out to the community, man.
Okay, and great. Hey man, thank you for your time. Thank you for this
Thank you.
interview. And hey, I'll see you soon. So April 4th is the veterans event.
April 9th.
April 9th. Okay, what time?
April 9th. 6 to 8:30.
6 to 8:30, and it's gonna be at Flip Flops Restaurant. So Flip Flop Sports Bar,
Yep.
home of the
It'll
Gators
always
and
be a flip flop.
the
We're
Steps.
not changing the location unless
Okay.
Flip closes the restaurant. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, check out Sergeant Sosua's YouTube channel, John the Rider's YouTube channel. Man, they're doing some great things over there. And if you guys need help, you guys can also reach out to us on Instagram. It's at Sergeant Sosua, right? On Instagram.
Correct. Yep.
SGT Sosua on Instagram. Mine is Cam Travels. If you guys need assistance or help while you're there, we can point you the right direction. We can't hold your hand and do your whole trip with you, but we could give you some info that's needed,
Right.
Airbnbs, where to stay, what to do, especially if it's your first time. If you need help finding the links to sign up, because I know some people got like that. The travel
I
link,
did.
people
I
paid
did.
for them. I'm like, they're free.
I
What do you
did.
mean you pay $20?
Every time, Cam, real quick, every time
Yeah,
I came to the Dominican Republic before I moved here, I paid until the last time. So
rookie.
they got me for about like $160 total.
Ah!
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I got man. Like I said,
Dude, I
go
need to
get
do that,
got.
man. I'm gonna open up the
Yeah.
site. Hey, yeah, just put
Yeah.
$20 here, dog. I'll do the
Right,
same.
right, right.
Your passport, your social security number, put it
Yeah,
all in
and
there.
hey, Cam, it was $60.
Damn.
They was getting $60 every
Damn.
time.
Got
Yeah,
your ass. They
got
got
it,
you
man.
good.
They got it.
They got
They
you
got it. But we have the correct link in our newsletter for the vet. And if you need it,
exactly.
I'll put it.
If you
Right?
need
We
the
have
correct link for the travel plan or whatever to get in Dominican Republic, the correct link is at veteransinparadise.com.
yeah,
Again, reach out
yeah,
to us however you want. Make sure you guys click the like, subscribe button, subscribe to both me and Sergeant
yeah.
Sosua, and follow us all on all social media platforms. My name is Cam Morris. That is Sergeant Sosua. You guys have a good one. I've got some awesome channels to share with you. First up, Cam Morris, where I tackle debt, finances, and smart money moves. If you love traveling, check out Cam Travels, where I vlog my adventures around the world, just me and my backpack. Next, there's Cam Unplugged, my reaction channel, where I give unfiltered takes on trending topics and all the wild discussions happening now. And finally, Cam 365, daily vlogs with meal prepping, gym motivation, and lifestyle inspiration to keep you going. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button in all my channels and join me on this incredible journey.